make my own choices.
Let them cook. Let them cook. Sorry, I said let them cook. This performance right here is why they got Johnathan Majors. This is why they didn't give up on him even when he had allegations. Victor Timely was him. Emmy-worthy. This is why he got an Emmy offer from the show on HBO Max. This is the performance they wanted to see. This is the difference, the way he acted. He who remains. This is when he was Kang. The versatility. I love everybody else that y'all say can be Kang. This is why they got this man. Phenomenal performance. Phenomenal. Let him cook. Like the subscribe and enjoy the mustache. Johnathan Majors steals the show. Loki season 2, episode 3. We getting into it. Victor Timely is here. 1893. I am joined, of course, with the one and only Afro Coming 765 and Monray Hudson. Tori, talk to him.
Well, we've got to turn around, folks. The last episode, though I did not care for the last episode, this episode was a turnaround. I'm more confused now, though. I'm still trying to break down who's the big bad. I don't know. Is it Obi? Is it Mobius? Is it Sylvie? Is it? But I saw Miss Minute as a ghost today, so I'm gonna say it's probably her. You don't get to dress up as a giant time ghost and not be the big bad of the season, I feel like. So maybe we're finally getting the answers. I loved Victor Timely. The little references that came in from the source material through this episode. You know, I'm a sucker for details, so they're turning it around. I'm reinvigorated to see how the next episode comes about as of now. So they turned it around, folks, at least so far.
Monray.
Well, I have been on the opposite spectrum from the last episode. You know, I actually enjoyed the last episode. This one, I didn't get as much enjoyment because of the confusion. Like, I would honestly say this one makes the show as a whole a bit more convoluted than I would like. Just being honest with it, because it's not just like the Afro comic said of I'm wondering who is the big bad. I'm at this point, I'm wondering what is the end goal anymore? Like, I know the TVA is like, we want to save, the strands and India, but what's really the end goal of the show itself?
I think the end goal is Ouroboros. I think that's the end goal of this season, at least, though, because we've played so heavy on the Ouroboros and time loop. I think this episode was basically sort of, at least in my opinion, this could sort of show us where this main time loop, if this Victor Timely is the actual variant of Kang that turns out to be the He Who Remains Kang, this could be where it starts. This interaction with Loki. We know that's why Ravenna gave him the TVA book and all that. I think that's the way to go. I think they're giving us the loop semblance. Like, the time loop's been so heavily pushed upon us. I think they're trying to show us the start of the loop.
Well, no. Like, what it is, like, we understand that He Who Remains, he's gone. He's done for. We have, that understanding. The issue that I have is I don't know what the purpose. Like, when I say the purpose of the show, like, okay, let's say they save the quote unquote TVA and the timeline by doing what Ouroboros needs them to do with the variant. What happens then? Like, what are you gonna do with Victor Timely? Like, you obviously can't return him where he was because now he's gonna be exposed to the TVA. He's already been exposed to the guidebook and everything. So obviously that's not the right answer. No. Let me give him rocks.
Wait, what if this is the Victor Timely that is He Who Remains, though?
He can't be.
No, he can be, because the corpse is still there. I know the corpse is still there, but I'm saying if this is a loop.
But no. See, like, well, I ain't gonna say he can't be. What I'm saying is that makes it even more convoluted. Time doesn't go in a circle. It's not necessarily how it goes.
That's the thing. That's Kang's whole thing, is that he made time go in a circle. That's why he shows you, like, the sacred timeline. Time is a flat circle. You know what I mean? Ouroboros in and of itself.
See, it just sounds so convoluted. Because in that words, okay,
But
no
we're
matter
talking
what
about
would happen,
time. It's
no, it
supposed to
makes
be
it no,
convoluted.
it makes it no matter what happens that he who remains would always be he who remains. But if that was the case, he wouldn't have been so worried about him getting, offed so that other variants would exist if he who remains would always have came back. Because in this instance, he comes back, but the TVA is still already in existence and it's already been exposed as something that he created. So it's not like he's just gonna go back and take it over. Like, no,
Well,
otherwise
I
he has
don't
to go
know.
back
You
in
got to
the
think
past.
time slips.
See, that's the problem. Like, he goes back in the past. That one already he taking it over, so he goes into this future. But this is a variant future within the sacred timeline where he
Yeah.
has been exposed. So he can't just go back and undo this future that is the sacred timeline future. That's why I'm saying it's so convoluted to what happens after this. The only thing that makes sense for me would be if something like Ouroboros was a variant of Kang in and of himself, and
Well,
he
that
just
I
disguises.
already put that forward as an idea, so I'm
No,
with
no,
you
no, no,
there.
no, no,
That
no, no, no,
that
no.
could be
No,
it.
I'm not saying that. Like, if he was a variant of Kang, but like he needed another variant of himself to like switch bodies or something. Like, see, like this something
Well,
that's just
well,
so convoluted and stupid.
well. Think. Okay, I thought about this. Um, OB is the only person in the TVA who essentially Kang couldn't afford. He wiped everybody's memories but OB because he couldn't afford for OB not to know. Because we know, at least from the writing of the handbook and from what he says, and we saw Victor Timely in this episode, we saw him fail with his miniature loom, which we know in the future OB does perfect and create. So I'm just you know what I'm saying. It does track. It's a crazy wonky all over the place track, but it's a track nonetheless that you can get some purchase on. But I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if Obi was a Kang variant. Because aside from what would make more sense, uh, Kang, the one who remains, wouldn't erase Obi's memory because he's this random guy that happened to get what he got wrong right, or is it more likely that this is a variant of himself and fucking? Because we know, and like I said, I know source material isn't law by any stretch of the imagination in this, but we've seen the way that Kang maneuvers in time. He's not afraid to go back to a certain time to set another person on a track that is beneficial to him in the long run.
Like,
So I mean,
okay,
I think I really think if Obi is the big bad, then I think he is a Kang variant.
I think Kang. I think Kang. I think it's gonna be a way to set up something that he who remained thought he had a plan, and Kang got another plan. It's just like a weird setup for it not to
Can
be.
we
Because
talk about Miss Minutes in this episode though? Because she gave me super villain vibes this episode too.
oh, she just wanted Kang to drop it down on it, and
No,
then
no, but I'm saying as far as she was talking about the body thing, but I noticed in this episode she can come into contact with the physical world. She's not purely like just a digital construct that can't, even when he before he minimized her freaking, when she reached for his face, his glasses moved when she did the thing to scare everybody away, to help him get away, to help Victor Timely get away during that. She interacted, the dust kicked up off the ground and she ripped down the banner. So we know that she can touch the physical world, which means she can potentially fuck some shit up.
I don't know. Like, yeah, she can definitely interact with the words. It's like when she was touching like the little strands of, I think, the little lights that were above in the World's Fair when she went all giant ghost and everything.
Yeah,
Interact with
that's
the
what I was
world.
saying when she ripped down the banners and shit. Yeah.
Like, I would buy
So
her being the final antagonist, but not out of her own original intention. Like what she said was that she wanted a body. She wanted a body so that she could
yeah,
prove, he who remains and all this other kind of mess. So I mean,
how'd you
by
guys
that
feel about her
extension,
putting her face on a mannequin? That
by
was
that,
creepy shit, bro.
but that by that extension, it gives me an idea that
Kang messed with it.
I mean, it gives me an idea that no, creating or taking over a body or something of that nature is possible because she was like, you never gave me a body, you never even tried. So it's like, if I manipulate this one and he creates me a body, then like something along them lines. But either way,
I
or
mean,
like
Tony Stark did it for Ultron.
technically, yeah, it is technically true. Well,
But
Ultron ended up making his own body by extension. But yeah,
yeah, but
He did do it.
He started with the armor though, which
Yeah.
got him to making his bond. But you see what I'm saying? He was essentially the same thing. He was an AI that fucking
That
was
one true
sentient,
body.
a sentient AI.
It's just like to me, this episode, and like you said, Miss Minutes, them taking them and Ravonna to the whole "I'm in love with you," right? And I say that for Ravonna too because yeah, she showed, I'm feeling you vibes.
But
In each
that's source
episode.
material MO. You know what I mean? Like Renslayer and Kang's whole plot in which we know the source material doesn't matter. Freaking but their whole thing, their whole shtick is that they've been lovers and enemies throughout all of time. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what time Kang is in, what form he's in. He will come into contact with a Renslayer variant. They will be in love, but it will end with them hating each other. He's done it thousands of times, and who
Just
knows?
being, I mean,
Maybe this Kang.
I've even seen on forums people thinking like Ravonna herself is a variant of Kang, and it's like, well,
I that thought crossed my mind too, because they changed it. Just because it wasn't like that in the source material doesn't mean it won't be a thing like that in the show. So I had that same thought too. Like if she is a Kang variant, because look at Sylvie. She's a Loki variant that's a female.
I mean,
We know it's possible.
Sylvie also pointed out like Ravonna wants power. She wants a seat at the end of time and all that kind of stuff, which would fall into her in line of being a variant of Kang, because ultimately that's what the Kangs want. They all want power.
Well, you guys remember in the last season when they saw the Renslayer variant and she was the vice principal at a school. She wasn't the principal, sort of like with the TVA. She's never first. Kang never puts her in position to be the head of anything. It's always second in command. It's always at his hand, never at his side. You know what I mean?
I mean, her finding out that she would be a Kang variant and Kang intentionally like sat her in the TVA or like put her like lower on the totem pole would piss her off.
Oh yeah. Well, he doesn't do partners, Monray. He doesn't do partners.
Like Miss Minutes did intentionally say, "Oh, I know all of his secrets." She was talking about like He Who Remains, so she was like, "No, I do know something about you. Now it would piss you off, but So she's basically okay. Well, if we're gonna be screwed over, I might well piss you off too. So let's go ahead and get the secrets. And it's like her finding out she's a Kang variant and got lowered in power would piss her off.
Oh yeah.
She was like, "Oh dang, I got looped into just being a TVA grunt worker."
When I could have been the big boss, there could have been the Council of Renslayer out there.
Something like that. So I mean, that would possibly.
If she turns into Torminatrix before this is over, it's gonna be fire. Because that's what she does in the comic book. She's like, "Nigga, I'm gonna give me some armor." But I don't see them going that route though. I don't. Plus, I'm pretty sure the vice principal from season 1, her last name was like a play on Torminatrix. So
it just got convoluted in this. So I'm just
according to what everybody said, episode 4 kind of explains it and rounds it up, and you get a definitive version of Kang. They said they said this is a definitive Kang, which means Victor Timely is supposed, from what I'm gathering, from what I'm hearing people what they say about the end of the season, it's supposed to be a definitive Kang. And from what I say, people from episode 4, I think He Who Remains trying to make him He Who Remains again.
Okay, so you get where my thinking is going.
Yeah, but something's gonna happen that it doesn't happen. Because it's a reason he who remains knows Loki's. And like, he was supposed
you gotta think there's also a reason Loki got pruned in episode 1. We're eventually gonna, during that time slip, he got pruned. I think we're gonna get the loop, and we're gonna get to see either Loki, like I said, either he's gonna prune himself or we're gonna see him being pruned, because that would be that'll be how they finish the loop, I feel like. But I'm glad that other people are seeing this as well.
I think Kang playing it. I think He remained playing this to do what it's supposed to do, and he's supposed to return because he knows who Loki and Sylvie is at the end of season 1. So he knows who they are. So that means I met you, and this is supposed to happen. But something's gonna mess it up, and they said we're gonna get the definitive Kang, which will probably lead to the other Kangs and then the Kang War.
The Kang War is a thing.
So I think it's supposed to be the convoluted loop, but I don't think loops are supposed to happen. So I think Monte is actually right. It doesn't make sense. So it's not gonna happen.
Okay, so if I gotta make a guess, if I gotta make an honest guess at trying to make sense of it, just to make sense. If I gotta make an honest guess, I would say because it doesn't make sense that all this was supposed to happen or something like that nature, and he who remains intentionally told them, "Do not kill me, otherwise you are going to screw up everything and get my variants and all stuff out there." He would have never been afraid to die like that had this would all supposed to happen. He'd have
Unless he
never
was
been afraid like
playing
that.
them.
I mean, yeah, of course, unless he was playing, but either way, like he'd have never did that. Not to mention Loki is a variant, uh, Sylvie's a variant. So like I said, if
Yeah.
he would have never had to warn them, had this would have been a thing. So to my mind, he is just trying to make a fail safe to help them by the end of. Like to me, this would make up the Kang variant that would help the good guys. Like that's
I
Well,
what
don't see that happening. I
because
don't see
we
that
know
happening.
so we already saw the Council of Kangs. We already saw all of them being evil, and the one that we normally know to help us out was also a part of the evil trio at the end anyway with Immortus. So if I gotta make a guess, this is to make a Victor Timely that would help them because otherwise you're going to be screwed by my
I
variant.
don't know, but I think after this episode that might have done the opposite. Do you think he's
no, Sylvie didn't. I don't think. I think the whole scene about Sylvie not killing him. The scene I put at the beginning was I can be who I want to be, not who you think I am. Was
okay?
for. I think that was a whole setup on the play on words. That's what I think Monte might be right. Like,
But
hey, listen, my other people gonna kill everybody, so I'm gonna teach this dude about the TVA early, and he'll
I
be a
don't
very.
know, man.
Cause think about
I
this one.
don't see
Think
I
about
just
this one.
don't see altruism being in any Kang variant's DNA. That nigga's
But
evil when he's a kid.
Iron Lad kind of turned out.
Iron Lad is what are you talking about? That's what I'm saying. Even when he was a kid, he ended up being a horrible person.
He
Iron
turned
Lad
out
was
all right.
not good. What
He
the
turned
fuck are
out.
you talking about?
He turned out okay later on.
Bruh, Iron Lad is not. Go check his track record to come back, bro. Come on. What are we talking about?
Hey,
I
bro,
mean
he
that
saw
ain't saying
time
that.
multiple times, and then he ended what's his name. But yeah, but I think he's gonna try, and I think it's an attempt, but it ain't gonna work.
I hope you guys are right, but I don't know.
Because you
I
gotta
mean,
remember,
I think
he
I
who
think he's
remains is not originally a Kang variant, but he's essentially
he's the
supposed to be.
last. I was gonna say he's supposed to be the original and the last, but it's hard to say what he's
I
supposed to
mean,
be.
he's basically the
616
one
Kang.
that's left over to keep all the rest of them from branching out. In my
Well,
mind, it's like, okay, if I'm gonna be taken out, then I'm going to use these two to quote unquote save the sacred timeline, because otherwise they're going to be bound by all of my variants. So if I'm gonna do
I don't think
something,
he'd
I'm gonna
care if
use
he's
this.
not there to enjoy it.
But his
I
whole
really
purpose, no, it
don't,
ain't about
bro.
enjoying it. His whole purpose
No,
in
no,
creating.
no. I'm saying, freaking. From what I feel from Kang, from what I know of Kang outside of it, I don't see Kang being like, "Oh, I'm not here to be in control, but I'd still want this machine to keep on running." He's very much a I can't run it,
Well,
so
this
fuck
is
this.
the He
This
Who
is not
Remains
Kang.
version. Yeah,
No,
this
but
is the He Who Remains.
I'm saying even as He Who Remains,
But Kang wasn't He Who Remains in the show. They kind of added that to him on the show.
Okay,
That's what
let
they
me
were
let me
telling.
get my spiel. Let me get my spiel. What I am saying is he who remains operated to keep the timeline sacred and everything in order. That is what his operation was. He is not Kang the Conqueror that we saw in Quantum Mania. That's not Kang. That's not him. He
I'm
is
aware.
intentionally trying to keep everything solo, keep everything solid, keep everything together as he feels he needs to do. So if he was going to get offed, he was like, okay. And in his minutes, even though his minutes did not agree with the fullness of the plan, neither did Ravonna. They literally, because they were both going to mold him into something else. And Victor Timely, in his own words, last thing was, I can be who I want to be. I'm not him. So therefore, what he would probably do is if you influence his mind to be a creator and everything of that nature, eventually he'll go up to the route where he will help stop the other variants of Kang
I don't.
because that's what he
I
needs
guess
to
we'll
do.
see.
Because
We're
no
gonna have to
other
agree
ones
to
are going to do that
disagree.
because no other ones are going to do that. So in my mind, either Ouroboros is going to take over Victor Timely and take over his body and be Kang, which seems way too convoluted for this Marvel iteration, or Ouroboros is going to end up being a variant himself, and him and Victor Timely, they'll have some other fight out, whatever case may be, and Timely's going to end up saving it. Either way, in my mind, Timely has to be a good person. He has to be a good guy because
I don't
otherwise, there's no
know.
other reason.
I can't wait for the later episodes now that we know that we're diametrically opposed on how the story will end.
Because it's so convoluted at this point. I mean, in my mind, Victor Timely has to be a good person. He has to be a good guy as of right now. Because right now he hasn't
I
really been
think
corrupted by
I
anything.
think
I don't think he said that line if he ain't meant to
I,
be. DC
Well,
universe.
we'll see. I disagree wholeheartedly.
Nah, so now something can change in this on the story that makes him a bad
That
guy.
one
Well,
on
I'm just
one
saying.
fight,
I think this ends with Victor Timely taking up the mantle of He Who Remains, and not in the good way. But we'll see.
I mean, even if he does that at the end, he'd have to go and replace it. He'd have to replace it
I
now.
think
Like
that's
it's
the
not like he can
plan.
go
No,
back in
like,
time.
well,
It's not
think
like he.
he sees that we see the corpse from He Who Remains when we go in, and I looked freaking the whole. They talk about the structure and the Hall of Time and everything, and the cracks and how it's supposed to look like it's cracking but not crumbling and all this. But I don't know, man. I just have a feeling. We'll
But I
see.
mean, we can all have feelings. It's just in my mind,
Exactly.
you can't. Just in my mind, you can't be like, okay, he's gonna become He Who Remains again. Like no, like they already
I think,
killed him, so it's not like he can go back and just
but if
undo.
it's a loop, if they complete the loop,
But I mean, that would
and
then
we
you'd
end
have to
up with
wipe
him
out.
alive again.
I mean,
But
no,
you got to think
you'd have to wipe
with
out Loki. Like
pruning.
it's not like you looping it to where it's gonna like time begins over again and everything we've went through. No, you can't kill off. You can't. You have to get rid of Loki and get rid of Sylvie. You have to get rid of them outright, and then just start the TVA over. And like I mean, that'd be possible, but otherwise, I'll
Resets are
see.
always possible when time's involved. You
But
gotta
there's not
remember that.
time to reset the universe. So resetting,
Well, no,
like that's what
no,
I'm saying. Like,
but I'm saying that this strand, if okay, let's
And
say
then Miss Minutes already
completely.
exists. Rensley already know about it. It's
Well,
too much of a difference.
We
It
know
just
that
can't
he
happen.
made Miss Minutes. I've
But
also
he
seen a
can't
lot of.
make her again after she
Well,
made,
no,
so it kind of
no.
loop
But
is kind of run.
I'm saying there are a lot of thoughts that Miss Minutes is somebody's disincorporated temporal aura. I've seen that theory floating around super duper heavy. That freaking and
We
that's
can't
why
prove that.
Well, no. But
Uh,
you just said you didn't want a review show. We're not reviewing this. Why are
oh
you?
no, I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Like that's
I
just a
can't wait till
theory.
this is over and I'm right and you guys are wrong. I'm gonna be so happy.
no, at the end we're probably all wrong. I'm just not of this
Hey,
mindset that all of a sudden Timely's gonna become He Who Remains, and then just gonna go back sitting on the throne, and then everything just starts over. Like, no, that just makes the entire thing pointless. It's not it. Like,
well,
oh, the
no, aren't
Timely,
they
like, it's not.
gearing Jonathan Majors up for a long-term role though?
I mean, yes, because obviously we
Okay,
have
okay,
everything from Kang Dynasty and stuff. What I'm
yeah,
saying is,
okay.
if we
So I'm
have
saying,
the no, I'm saying the variants are in existence. Like they're all, even though a whole bunch of timelines were pruned, the variants are still here. They're still in existence. As we've seen with Victor Timely, they are in existence. So it's not
unless
like
what if
you can
this?
just go
Okay,
back.
so are we in agreement that this Victor Timely is the Sacred Timeline's Victor Timely? Can we agree on that?
Probably, yeah. Because like
Okay,
they reference
so
everything from like the world
listen.
story. So probably.
Would there be more than tech? I know technically speaking, yes. As of now, there is a corpse of one, but would there be two Kangs or two variants on the sacred timeline?
There already are.
No, but okay, I'm saying, but if technically one is dead, you see what I'm saying?
No, no, no. What I'm
Okay,
saying is you
if one is dead and there's only one there, then I don't know. Maybe I'm stuck on the. I think they're going to complete the loop. I think they complete the loop, and we eventually get to Loki pruning himself, and that's
like
that
like
original
what I'm
pruning
saying
from
is
the
like
time.
he could become himself, but he can't go back in time to be that version because that version is dead. And like the purpose of that version being there was to stop the other variants from getting in existence. So since that's not a thing anymore, that's a failure. It's not like he can go and be the new He Who Remains and then the variants all go away. That's not how
Well,
that's
no,
gonna
because
work.
you got to think it's. I think they're going to get there, bro.
Like they can't do that. Like the variants have to be in existence, like Immortus and Iron Lad and all
Yeah,
that, because we need the
Ramatut, and
antagonists for the
yeah.
future. Like so, they can't just be like, okay, we're gonna reseal them away. No, like literally, the whole point of this TVA thing is to make
But
the
I,
temporal loop
I know.
bigger to be able to contain the other strands that
So
are
I
in
know
existence.
essentially you don't. He can't be back to being just he who remains. But I don't know. They're gonna finish the loop.
Like to me, it's like it's not really a loop like that. You can't start over. Like the
Well,
only way you can start
no.
over is to prove
I
everything.
mean, finish the loop as from where the beginning of the season we see Loki get pruned when he time slips. I think we get back to Loki getting pruned, being time slipped at the end.
All right, we'll
Oh, you talking about
see.
who froze them?
Well, no. I think he pruned himself. I already said that. I think Loki pruned Loki.
You think like the same Loki just went back a little further and then pruned himself?
Well, I think that the situation will call for that. Because think, when Sylvie got to him, it wasn't. This was before they had the reunion and everything. When she opened, when he got pruned from that, freaking, she was like, "Oh, there you are!" Like they had already been together. So I'm thinking that this sacred timeline, I think we're going to wrap back around to that point where Loki got pruned during that time slip in the first episode. And I think we'll either find out who pruned him or he pruned himself. Because
I mean, that's cool.
that would be the ultimate, like, that would be the circle, you know what I mean? Freaking, that would be Ouroboros completing the loop, the dragon biting its tail.
I mean, I'll take that. Like, we'll find out who pruned Loki at the beginning to
Because
get
we
Loki
gotta have an
to keep
evil
alive.
Kang for Kang Dynasty to be
Yeah,
there.
well, I'm telling you, and most likely it's
And
gonna be
he
a Mortis
and
or
he
whatever
who
he did.
remains was technically the most evil. You know what I mean? He made the multiversal war happen, and he was the one who was left standing.
I don't necessarily know if I call him evil. It's more like neutral.
Okay, neutral, but he killed every other variant besides himself to make sure he was the one who
Well, they was
remained.
kind of killing everybody. So,
But no, you know, war is a fucking war is a horrible thing. There are no winners in war, isn't that what they say?
He won.
He definitely won, but you know
That's
what I mean.
the whole thing about it. Like, we could. In that instance, yeah, I'll take that. We'll go back to looping to find out that. But I'm just like, you can't be like, oh, Victor Timely is going to become He Who Remains again and go back and sitting on the throne and we're going to start from scratch. No, like you can't, because even if he becomes that, the variants are here. He can't, like, as of right now, he doesn't know or can't just reseal the other variants because those timelines are here.
But if the loop is coming around, you're gonna need that, and this could play into you guys. Him being the one that helps. What if him helping is taking down the variants, which would then again make him He Who Remains?
It could be a loop, but we looping again. No, we don't want to loop in this.
No, I'm saying is that's cool, but like he could take down the other variants.
But I'm saying this is supposed
to
just be the lead off into the Kang Dynasty and everything.
No. What I'm saying is like that would be fine. He could become the last variant that exists and taking out other Kangs. But 616 Earth timeline would still be in existence and still have gone forward. So it's not like, oh, he's gonna go sit at the throne and we don't know who he is and the TVA gonna start. No, like that wouldn't be a thing. It was just the one left, but we still know who the freak he was and what happened.
I don't think, like I said, I don't think we're going to end up with him resetting everything per se. Like, oh, this is going back to jump. I'm just saying that I think that we end up with him being the Kang that is needed to go through with all these movies and things.
But they say we do get a definitive Kang. I'm looking forward to it.
Definitive Kang. Okay, cool. That's going to be either the one from Quantum Mank out of nowhere, or it's going to be a Mortis. That's my honest guess. It's going to be one of those two.
Or the Supreme.
When you say definitive Kang, like it's either going to be just the Kang the Conqueror that we know that we've already assumed is dead, or it's Mortis, which is the most evil Kang out of all of the variants that we already know is a top level threat and we've seen anyway. So it's either one or the other, to my opinion. Like I don't think you're going to make a third Kang that's the definitive Kang when we've already seen the regular Kang that we know of, and we've already seen the most evil one. Like there is no other definitive one.
We do got Supreme Leader Kang, so but we.
Oh boy,
white supremacist.
Oh, just give me a Mortis and make this make sense, please.
Well, we already got a Mortis from the little video where he got his group.
We got him from the snippet, but we don't know what timeline and what spots they all came from. I knew they just collected together.
And they got to take care of the Avengers because Ant-Man was a threat.
And shout out to Johnathan Majors, because Victor Timely. I've seen very divided opinions on his Victor Timely acting role. Some people were like they couldn't stand it. It took away from the experience. People gave it like a really thumbs up, really good shout out to like his versatility. I'm with the second. Like I really think it was really good. Like it took me a minute to understand he was stuttering. And I was like, oh wow, he actually implemented a stutter into this role.
His character's
I'm like, okay, that shows a lot of good.
I would say I saw that as being true to he was playing the part. They even got the Wisconsin reference in there when he said he works in Chicago, but his freaking shop is across the river in Wisconsin. Because see, in the comic books, Victor Timely's from Timely, Wisconsin.
So like it worked for me. I was really proud of it. I was like, okay, he got like good versatility to be able to show a timid trickster inventor in 1893. So I'm like, okay, you got me with that. Like that's a good diverse role, other than a dominating Kang the Conqueror, and so we'll see what variants and what other stuff we get. But all I know, next episode we're gonna and to be fair, I'm not leaving out Sylvie. I still got questions on Sylvie. I still question Sylvie's motives and everything. It's just at least now she showed a little bit more than I'm just revenge for no stupid reason. But either way, I still question her. But here's what it is.
Yeah, I think Johnathan Majors steals the show, as the title said, Loki season 2 episode 3, 1893, which I think is probably a reference to something that I got to figure out.
I've noticed that we've seen 157 and 158 show up predominantly in these last 2 episodes, and that would be right around comic-wise when the Living Tribunal would come into play in the subsequent Kang stories. So maybe we're gonna get us a Living Tribunal move.
So we've been trying to get Living Tribunal for they tease them.
Maybe they're gonna give it to us, yo.
In the TV show. Maybe. I thought
in the TV show.
I probably thought they're gonna put him in Doctor Strange, but they like swinging heads around. They did it in Loki season 1 too, so they said little hint. Maybe we get to tell
Nah, we ain't got a big enough threat for the Living Tribunal.
Not in this show, but I guess Monte bet. All right, well, we about to get out of here because I know it's a 30-minute show, and some of y'all don't like 30-minute shows. But it was a good.
Attention spans are shorter, yeah.
It's good. It's good. Tell them
At
where
least
they
this
can
one
find.
was serious crafting.
Yeah, so Tori, tell us where they can find you.
At AfroCommy765 on all platforms. Of course, on Overall 99 Media, being an Overall 99 scumbag. You know the vibe. Something flagrant, something inflammatory.
And Monray, tell them where they can find you.
Everywhere it says Monray Hudson, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, as it still exists. You know where to find me. Come hear what I got to say.
Threads is still crazy.
Johnathan Majors steals the show one more time. Loki season 2, episode 3, 1893. Remember to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell. I know it blows. It's supposed to blow up now. I don't even know if they gave us that feature yet. All that stuff, you know what to do. Follow us. We'll be back next week talking about the same thing. I also talk about Gen V probably tomorrow. And then we'll get Power probably tomorrow as well. Shout out to Joe. I think he's on some I don't know. Let's see, some medication or something. So he healing. He getting better. So we're gonna see my guy soon. Shout out to him. So always we do all of that. Like and subscribe one more time. We out. Peace.